Welcome to the Kaur Show. Today we are episode 28, and we've got a special guest today by Harmeet Singh from Canada. He's from Khalsa Media Services, and Harmeet Singh is also the producer of the movie Princes of God. And today we are looking to discuss around the movie and the values that's been depicted in this movie around a core personality, and we'll talk about that. And also, we'll talk about some of the books that Paisap has written and some of the projects Khalsa Media Services is doing. And as always, we've got my co-host Benji Ranjit Kaur from UK. Benji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I would normally say I'm great, but we're back in full lockdown in the UK.
Oh,
So
wow,
it's
yes.
really challenging trying to manage our homeschooling, see colouring business. What else can you do, Hannah? We've got to
I
manage.
know. I know it's a third, I think, national lockdown in UK, and it's not just going anywhere. It's really sad.
No, it's sad, but then I have to think at least we're, in a good position and we're still supporting the
Mm,
farmers protest as well.
yeah.
At least,
Yeah.
we're not like the way they are, where they're on the, streets and they're also suffering, but they're doing it in the
Mm.
cold somehow, peacefully protesting. So, it's not that bad when we compare it now.
This is so true, Benji, finding always, it's a transformation of your, how you look and, observe the things. And definitely we are far better than what is happening in India and all the protesting farmers on at Singhu border and other borders as well. And how the government has been dealing. It's so much cold in India at the moment and, rainy weather, wet weather, and still they are protesting in Chartikala, which is great.
It's amazing. And,
It
wherever
is.
Sangat can, please carry on making noise about the farmers with your families, friends, share a post on social media. Govinda, I've seen that you're active as well regarding this issue. So I think it's really important that we continue on about the
It is.
farmers' protest.
That's right. And just on the other note, look at our dresses today, We are just matching colors today. It's
Yeah.
white and maroon. It's just a coincidence.
Yes.
Alrighty. It's time to bring our guest on today. And as I said in the introduction, we've got by Harmeet Singh from Canada. And it's amazing how sometime, we have to coordinate the timings. And it's 1 a.m. in Canada. And we really thanks Paisab, for taking all this time and coming to our show. So without wasting any time, I'll bring Paisab in. So Veer ji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the
Why
call
Guji
show.
Khalsa, why Guji ki Fateh. Thank you, Benji. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you. It's really
Right.
great, taking time at 1 a.m. And it's really,
Yeah,
we're thankful to you.
yeah, no,
And
yeah, that was a little bit challenging, but because everyone else is sleeping, so finding a place where we could have a chat without disturbing others was a little challenging, but I think it worked out.
Definitely. So, Virji, as you know, today's topic is mainly around the movie Princes of God, and we know it's been a few years. The movie is already out, and a lot of audience, Sangat, has actually watched it, and we have fully enjoyed in Australia as well. We had a couple of screenings and such a fabulous review from the Sangat here. So, probably if you could tell us in the beginning, like what was the motive behind or the inspiration behind, bringing this movie, and where do we stand today?
Great question, Benji. So actually, if I the thought of movie started in back in 2014, a long time ago. As I had been writing books on Sikh women mostly, and at that time, SikhNet used to do the film festival, yearly film festival, and a few times topic theme was around the course. And Satdeep Singh and many others produced great short movies around the course, which mostly talked about the outer you can say the bana of the course, like mostly the star, the other things. And I had been thinking, we are always focusing on just one side of one perspective, and we want to focus on the overall perspective of the core, like all the सत संतोख दया धर्म धीरज वाले देवी गुण जेडे है ना, which are required to make a complete core. So 2014, I started talking to Satdeep Singh that we want to do something uh, which depicts the complete picture of a Kaur. And then I at that time we started Khalsa Media Services in the US as well. I was back in the US at that time, and I started talking to our team here, and the directors agreed that if you can manage the movie, go ahead and we'll do it as a project here. So at that time, we started conversation. In 2016, we completed the script, and we started actually producing the movie. It took like 3 years to produce the movie. By end of 2019, the movie came out, and it's we have had few shows on 2020, as you were mentioning about the lockdowns, and with the pandemic situation, the shows were not possible anymore since February actually. So we have been thinking how to get the movie to the Sangat. So we finally managed to release it on Vimeo.
That's great. Thank you. That's where I saw it, actually. I was like, wow, this is so amazing. Let's get you on the show and let's talk more about it. But just going a little bit back, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, what's your professional background, how you got into this?
Yeah, I'm a product leader in Microsoft. I've been in Microsoft for 20 years now. So, so yeah, I'm focusing mostly on that side. And then as a hobby, I started writing books on Sikh women, and especially when my elder daughter was born, I couldn't find any good books which focus on women. So I started researching, and that time I started writing books as a hobby, and getting more and more involved in community seva, you can say. And that stuff I still do as a hobby whenever I get time.
That's amazing. You've been working for 20 years at Microsoft, and then this is your side thing. And that's probably how, it's taken that long to do the movie, because it can't be easy. And then the pandemic came, and then now trying to get this movie out. It must be quite difficult, Hannah. Yeah. So what have you done to get the movie out? Is it just on Vimeo, or is it on anywhere else?
So initially we started doing few shows. There were a couple of shows happened in the UK as well, in Bradford. Bhagat Singh Viji has done a show along with a few organizations. We were planning to get to Birmingham and others as well. But then suddenly pandemic happened. The same thing with Australia as well. Melbourne, Panji Govindakar has done a couple of shows in Melbourne, and we couldn't go further because of pandemic. In the North America, we have done shows in California, Seattle, and Vancouver. A great response wherever, but the Sangat from all over the world was asking like, when are we releasing it? Because it took like three years, right? People couldn't wait anymore. So, and then with pandemic, we thought of what are the options to launch the movie. We started looking at Netflix and all the other options, but having limited time, and those venues are very complex to launch the movies. So we found Vimeo as the easiest one. So we launched it there.
Awesome. I think before we go further into the discussion regarding the movie, it might be better if we just bring the movie preview on, and we'll get a bit of that. So I'll just screen the movie preview.
ਕੁੜੀ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਿਆਰਾ ਅਹਿਸਾਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਤੇ ਨਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਹਿਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੈਸ।
आपका संगीत सिर्फ गानों में ही सुनाई नहीं देता, सीधा दिल पे लगता है।
I don't want to marry a stranger. I mean, ज़्यादा नहीं, पर कोई ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਕਨੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਾਂ।
ਇਸ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਡਿਸਪਲਿਨ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਅਲਾਉ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਡਿਸਪਲਿਨ ਨੂੰ ਤੋੜਨ ਦੀ ਜੁਰਤ ਕਰੇ।
ਗੁਰਜਸ, ਤੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਖੁਸ਼ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਰਹਿ ਲੈਣਾ?
ਆਊਟਲੁੱਕ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋਣ ਨਾਲ ਕਦੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਦਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ।
ਸਾਂਭੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ।
ਕਿਤੇ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਿਤਾ ਦੀ ਪੱਗ ਨੂੰ ਦਾਗ ਨਾ ਲਾ ਦਿੱਤੀਏ।
ਓਏ ਮੱਕੂ, ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਆ ਜਾ।
ਤੂੰ ਜਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਆਈ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ।
ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਧੀ ਆ ਮੈਂ। ਵੱਡੀ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਜੰਗ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਇਆ ਕਰੂੰਗੀ। ਫਿਰ ਦੇਖੀ ਤੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਨਾਲ 10-10 ਗੰਨਾਂ ਲਾ ਦੂੰ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣਾਂ ਦੀ।
ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਆਲਮ ਖਾਨ, ਤਲਵਾਰ ਮਿਆਨ ਚ ਜੰਮ ਗਈ? ਚੱਕ ਜਾ ਸੀਨੇ ਅੰਦਰ।
ਇੱਕ ਯੋਧੇ ਦਾ ਹਥਿਆਰ ਸਿਰਫ ਤਲਵਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹਦੀ ਬਾਜ਼ ਵਰਗੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਤੇ ਜਿਗਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਭੈਣੇ।
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਯਕੀਨ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਤੇਰੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਂਗ ਲਾਲ ਸੂਹਾ ਰੰਗ ਚੜ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ।
What a great trailer, Benji. I've seen the movie multiple times, and it always, there is something that always inspire me, and a combination of the how various artists have acted in this movie and the story flavor. I think Satdeep Singh and the whole team, the concept, it was really brilliant. Have you seen the movie, Benji?
I haven't actually seen the full movie yet. I've seen the trailer many times. I need to sit with the family and actually watch this because my Gunia are asking lots of questions. So it'd be nice to, show this movie, especially for Princess. And I think it's definitely important. I've only actually come across the trailer a couple of weeks ago. And that's when I approached Badi and I said, oh, can you come on and talk more about this? Because I didn't even know. So I don't think it's been... here in UK that much, where I am in the West Midlands. So I think, with the pandemic as well, when it happened, lockdown here, we didn't have cinemas open or anything. So I think that's probably one of the main reasons. And Bradford's quite far, so
Yeah, I think pandemic is the reason. And one thing I want to mention here is that the audio quality and actually videography is, we have used a cinema quality camera, so actual real cinema quality camera. It is not like any standard movie camera. So when you look at the actual movie, it is actual cinema quality.
Oh, the quality is amazing. The quality is spot on. I thought it was brilliant. And that's why I was like, where is this? Where can we watch this, Hannah? So definitely just need to download and sit with the family and watch this. And I'm really glad that, Gurinder Benji's watched this all a few times and it's been showing in Melbourne. Obviously, again, the lockdown has been different there to here. So so you said that Netflix was difficult to put on, or maybe Amazon Prime, or...
Yeah, so you need to be a you need to have a distributor to put it on Netflix, and with one,
Yeah.
small producers like non-profit
The,
organizations, it's not that easy to find a
yeah.
distributor who is cost effective.
Yes, I think there are many formalities. If you have to get onto a OTP platform, it's really hard, and there's so much involved. It's really hard to believe that. But just on that note, Virji, please could you share us some of the challenges? I know, as Penji mentioned, that she only recently came across this movie. So I think marketing was something could be a challenge for yourself. Could you maybe tell us something on that?
Yeah, definitely. Marketing was the biggest challenge actually, because the only platform we could share was, our social medias, and we were hoping that the trailer would be shared more and more and can probably reach the most of the sangat. But again, I am not much on social media, so the reach is only limited, right? So that's one of the main reasons for us to like marketing. We have spoken to a few marketers as well, but the cost of marketing was significantly high for us to spend that effort, and we didn't know what the result will be. So we thought that eventually it'll go as a word of mouth as more and more people watch it. So the best way is to actually put the movie out, and when people watch it, they'll definitely recommend the friends, and that's what we are seeing happening ever since we put the movie on Vimeo. Uh, we are getting a lot of reviews and emails as well, actually, from the Sangat when they heard from the friends.
Yes, that's right. And Vijay, just comparing the story, like with my personal view, when we compare it, I think it definitely relate to today's youth and the families as well. Thinking about the star and coming from Gursikh family and still children not opting for the star, especially females. What kind of response did you have from Sangat around this, and did the movie change any perspective on that?
Yeah, actually, it's very interesting when you bring in the star as a challenge. I'm seeing it is being accepted more and more actually in our community now. But the main thing which the movie, because we didn't want to have a direct message that that this is required and this is not. We just wanted to show a perspective of how the core experiences her life, what challenge she faced in day-to-day life, and that's where we wanted the viewers to make a decision like what is important for them, if there is any message. And the best message we almost everyone said, actually 100% of people who have given us feedback has said that they have cried few times actually in the movie. There are multiple scenes where they get emotional, and one of the Amrit scene is very touching, and many people have actually said that they have not, they have been thinking about it, but it is back of their mind, but now they really want to become Amritari. So I think more than the star is the Amrit concept, which has touched the Sangat a lot more.
I think that's amazing, especially if you can get people to receive Amrit or even think about receiving Amrit while watching a movie. I think it's really, really good. And you mentioned about the trend with the gearski, the turban. Just yesterday I spoke to a friend from London, and she had mentioned that, this turban is such a trend that you wear, and you wear different colors. And I just thought to myself, if it's such a trend, then why aren't you wearing one? Because then follow the trend.
Yeah.
But I said, it's not just about outside appearance, it's also about the inside as well, Hannah. So you've got Barney and then you've got the outside. It has to all jaw together. So it's really simple saying let's just wear a turban on our head and make it funky looking. It doesn't work like that. It's a lot more deeper when you're following the Maryada. And I also think, like, recently we've just got into Jar Sahibzad, the movie. And again, we've downloaded it from YouTube, the movie itself, and it's great that it's animation, and then this one's like a real life. So this is why I'm really excited to show the family, because then they can see the difference. Because when kids still watch animation, they think, oh, it's not real, but it's nice to hear the story, but it's not real. But when they see real life, they can actually then relate to it. So I think this will be, it's good to have the difference there. And do you feel like that cause get representation in the media?
No, truly speaking, not the kind of representation one would expect. The amount of work cores are doing right now in you know because in the past you can say the cores would generally be at home, doing the home chores, and so that's why they didn't get any mention in the history books, in our culture and everywhere. But now cores are everywhere. They're leaders in the businesses. They're doing all kind of innovation and everything, right? But the representation is not as I would expect, and that's one of the reasons I started writing. My whole focus is on course, actually, since I started writing books. Even the scholarship program we started is focusing totally on course as well. Our goal is that to promote course and give them the thing they need.
Yeah, this is a way to reduce the gender bias by creating more resources, movies and short films, so that people can, see that we are real and we do exist. And, we are professional, we do get degrees, and we can go up the ladder as well. No, we're definitely there. And then we still do the housework as well. And there's, Nyan Sambalna, there's lots to do, but we're no different in getting qualifications like the men. So I think these, the movies and the books, it definitely helps with reducing the gender bias. So what inspired you to get involved with Sikh media? Is it just the cause, or is it with your books, or is it with anything else?
So even in Sikh media, my focus has been mostly on course as well. Again, like, because I have two cores, right? So for the future, I wanted to make sure that I leave them with something which can help them, be strong in the community and in the world. Because even though we have came a long way, but there's still a gender bias in workplace and everywhere. And that's why if you see, a lot of big companies are focusing more on diversity and equality and things. Recently, over the last couple of years, I've seen huge focus is being laid, because even though we have been talking about it for many years now, it's still not the same. So that's why I wanted to focus more on course, and the scholarship is for course to do professional degrees, so that they can be successful and can change the perspective of normal people.
Yeah. And as you mentioned about the book, so I think my Mata Pakar book, and the second one I forgot. I think it's on Rani Sahib
Kaur.
Rani Sahib Kaur, yes. So I think those two books are really great story books, and kids do love them as well. So that's a great initiative, VG. So just with all the work that you have been doing, have you got a team behind you as well?
Yes, so we have 5-member teams in Khalsa Media, and then we have few volunteers. Mostly the projects are independent, kind of, because we do have quite a few projects going on. So I own the multimedia and the movie media related section for the organization. Then there is like education, scholarship, mentoring section, humanitarian projects. We had huge projects in humanitarian side as well. So there are 4 different streams we have where we focus on, and everyone is owning like one section and focusing completely on that. And all the 5 members are actually IT professionals in big companies, so it's hard to get the time out. So that's why you can say the visibility of our work is not that much, because either we can do the work or we can market ourselves. It's hard to do both when you're full-time involved in your kirth, and then you're just doing it as a seva sideways.
How do you juggle the work, the media, the Microsoft work? How are you juggling this all together, and family life?
Yeah, it's not easy. It just depends. You need a lot of support for the family, and that's where I think another thing happens for the cause is, like, when men are successful at doing something, behind that there is definitely the family who is supporting them, right? So that is a big perspective as well, which is generally lost. For me to focus on other projects as well, my family has to help. My wife and my daughters have to be supportive of it, and that's where you need a lot of support from family. And I've seen many people who come as volunteer, they leave within 2-3 weeks or months, few months, unless you're a college student, then you can dedicate your time. But then you don't have that perspective, you can do kind of what you've been asked for. But
Yeah.
when you get mature in life, you have so many responsibilities, and taking time out as a volunteer is not that easy. And I do commend all the volunteers who have been doing like tons of seva. In the beginning, you mentioned about the farmer protest going on in India. There are tons of volunteers doing, have been there since like a couple of months there, right? So I do commend how much time they are able to take out from the family life and the day-to-day life.
Definitely. It's very difficult, even with the seat coloring project. If I was to go back into IT as well in Unix, I would struggle. I would really struggle doing a full-time job, then come back and do the orders for seat coloring, and then gardakam and khana dana. It's too much. So I couldn't do it all. So that's why the IT job has to be the sacrifice in order to continue doing the community-based work. And I think that's the Sikhi Seva, where if you want to really focus on something, if you're there full time, it really works and it can get projected out. But it means one person has to sacrifice, and maybe all others have to help out with the girath. But it's not easy. It's very difficult, and social media it's a full-time job as well, so it's very difficult. I understand exactly where you're coming from. So how did you fund this movie, and where can people support your projects?
We have mostly came out from Avatas One, but our organization, when anyone has watched the movies, they have actually subscribed to our organization for monthly donations as well. So at khalsamedia.org, there's a way to support the organization, different projects as well. We are also on DVN Network. And many of the Sangat are supporting with whatever they can. But mostly we funded it with this one because, like I said, all of five are in the IT company for a long time. The key thing for us, the easier thing for us is to fund the movie. The difficult thing for us is to market the movie because of that. So yeah.
Definitely, Paisa, when it comes to funding and marketing, I think these are the biggest challenges. And we have seen that sometimes there is great input and it's a great quality, but because of the lack of marketing, which in itself requires a lot of budget, and especially these days when we know there is so many I'll say there is a competition, there is commercial projects as well. At the same time, there are animation movies coming from the big Bollywood celebrities as well. Where do you see these community projects stand as well? I know that's a big challenge, but how much do you think is community actually supportive of these kind of community projects?
So see, the focus of community projects is mostly focusing on seva, right? So we community people who are doing community projects, they don't expect the return of investment as such. But a lot of times, because you need funding to do other projects, right? When you have done investments in there, so there will always be few people who will fund you quite a bit, like who will support you to go beyond the normal ways to support you, not only in finances but also in marketing and things like that. So there will always be kuch panth dardi honge jede will take an extra step to support you. Yeah. So that's how the community projects work. Even the humanitarian projects, it's always a few people who fund for all the humanitarian projects, and we are able to deliver.
Exactly. Yeah, I do agree with that. And Viji, as the name of the movie, means Princess of God, and Kaur mean princess as well. So, what were the main core values of that core word that were you focused on this movie and that you wanted to bring, as an identity to the core and give a message?
one of the thing actually, if you see the movie, you'll notice that we have depicted a Kaur becoming a jathedar of Jatha as well. And
Yeah.
when we are talking about the equality, and that's what we specifically added just to have the equality perspective in there. We did get few messages from some of the sangat who are still living in the olden world of thought process, and they are saying, how can a core be a jathedar, and but we wanted to change the perspective of people as well, that core can do anything with whatever we are able to. And
Yeah, I think with people's opinions, even you get that with books, in coloring books, we get that as well. Why didn't you do it this way? Why did you say it this way? People are going to say comments and whatnot, but you've got to continue doing what you think is right. And especially if you touch so many hearts with receiving Amrit or even thinking about Amrit, and that's amazing. So if you've touched one person with receiving Amrit, that's just wow factor for me. So I think, well done that you and your team have got this done. I think it's amazing. So what are your future plans like? So do you have any more in the pipeline?
So we like 2 hours movie actually is kind of overkill. We are noticing, because with today's fast-paced life, it's hard for the family to take out 2 hours to watch a movie. When we actually wrote the script went out to become a 4-hour movie, and we were like, we probably this can't work out, right? It's not like old Indian Bollywood movie where we would have 3 hours, things like that. So we started reducing and cutting, and we were able to come to 2 hours. But I think it's still too much. One of the feedback we are getting is family who really want to watch the movie. They're like, we have kept it for long holidays, right? This winter holidays, a lot of people have watched the movie, and we are now thinking that maybe the short movies, like 4 to 5 minutes movies, or maybe sometime 10-minute movies, they can, like in this movie we are trying to convey multiple messages, and having one message in a movie can work out, and people can watch at their pace. I think that's what we are thinking for the future, having short movies, 4 to 5 minute movies, which convey one message at a time. That might be more meaningful for the sangat.
I think also little small snippets, like even like a 10 or 15 minutes, because like I have a 4, 6, and 7. They definitely can watch Paw Patrol and all these other movies, and they're on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then they get bored as well after watching Goriande. But I think 10, 15 minutes is good, like, So when there's 3 minutes, then they want something else and something else, and they want to fill that void. So I think if you can get a really good message within that time frame, even I can sit then for that long. You can make the really bad like watching TV. I'm not in the shankani here. But when we do, I think 15, 20 minutes is like, a good time, screen time, and then next thing, Hannah.
Yeah, that's our goal, to restrict it to like 10-15 minutes maximum, and that's, I think, the right time. Like you said, people can watch, and that can give us the point across, enough time to get the point across. 2 hours is really, really hard.
That's right, yeah. Yes, and I think it's a time. We also would like to share some of the reviews that Sangat has given for this movie after watching some screenings in Melbourne. And we have got a video that's put together collating all those reviews, and we would like to share that with the audience today. So I'll just share that now.
ਇੱਕ ਕੁੜੀ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਿਆਰਾ ਅਹਿਸਾਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਤੇ ਨਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਹਿਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਹੋਵੇ a princess
आपका संगीत गीत सिर्फ गानों में ही सुनाई नहीं देता, सीधा दिल पे लगता है।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਮੂਵੀ ਹੈ। ਬੜੇ ਹੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਬਿਜ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਜੋ ਇੱਕ ਪਿਤਾ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇੱਕ ਮਾਂ ਪਿਓ ਦੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਰਵਰਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਵੇ। ਸੇਮ ਹੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਇਮੋਸ਼ਨਲ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਮੂਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ, ਵੀ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਸਵਾਲ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਉਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਪਰਵਰਿਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਉਦਮ ਕਰ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਬਿਜ਼ੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਵਾਚੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ।
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੂਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੁਛ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਐਂਟਰਟੇਨਿੰਗ ਆ। ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੂਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਰეკਮੈਂਡ ਕਰਦਾ।
ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੈਸ ਆਫ ਗੋਡ ਮੂਵੀ ਦਾ ਮੇਨ ਜੋ ਮਕਸਦ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਉਂ ਜਾਪਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਜੋ ਬਦਲਾਅ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਸੁਨੇਹਾ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਸੁਨੇਹਾ ਹੈ। ਇੱਕ ਪੁਰਾਤਨ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਦੀ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਵਿਖਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ। ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਮੂਵੀ ਸੀ।
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੂਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੀ ਲੱਗੀ। ਇਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਨ ਦੀ ਸੀਖ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਦੀ ਨਾ ਛੱਡਣ ਦੀ ਸੀਖ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ।
ਮੂਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹਾਰਟ ਟੱਚਿੰਗ ਮੂਵੀ ਸੀ, ਇੰਨੀ ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰਿੰਗ ਸੀਗੀ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਜਵਾਕ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੂਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਕਨੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਵੀ ਕਨੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਤੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ।
ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਮੂਵੀ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ, ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ।
ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਮੂਵੀ ਲੱਗੀ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਕਨਸੈਪਟਸ ਤੇ 올ਡਨ ਟਾਈਮਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਬਾਈਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੂਵੀ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਇੱਕ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਵੈਸੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੌਬ 'ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਪਕਮਿੰਗ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੇਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਬੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਊਡ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੰਨੀ ਦਾਤ ਬਖਸ਼ੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਜਿਹਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਉਹ ਕੀਮਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ, ਪਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੱਚੀ ਗਲੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਗਾਇਆ ਹੈ। ਮੂਵੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਲਿਟਰਲੀ ਫੀਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਨਿੱਗੀ ਗੋਦੀ ਤੇ ਨਿੱਗੀ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜੱਫੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ।
Oh, they were beautiful reviews. And it's so nice to see the Melbourne Sangath too. It's been a while I haven't seen the Melbourne Sangath, so that was actually quite nice to see them. But the reviews are amazing. So I think,
Yes.
if there was cinema in the cinema and the cinemas were up and running everywhere, that would be absolutely amazing. So,
And that's right, Benji. When we had so much good views, and after I watched it for the first time, I think we were just restrained that should we if we could get it in the movie theaters exactly, and get that quality. So we actually screened this on the projector at community venues. But I think it would have been awesome if we could afford to actually showcase in some movie theaters. So that was some of restraints we can say at that time we had. But amazing movie.
Definitely. And, Baji, that's amazing. But I would like to say that, if anyone in the Sangath, you do want to help out and donate and support this amazing project, then please go onto their website. It's www.khalsamedia.org, and please support them. So this would be great. And, Viji, thank you so much for coming today and sharing your viewpoints, your experience, your wonderful journey with us all. If anybody wants to get in touch, then please go on their website. Benji, do you have any last speeches, comments?
No, as you already mentioned, we need to support these kind of projects, as especially we always talk about, women identity, women empowerment. And there is so much, we can showcase from our rich history of Kaur identity as well. So I think VG is doing really powerful projects, and we need to bring these projects to the limelight as well, just so that people get to know, they get more aware. I mean, we don't have to even put efforts. There is already hard work happening, and we just need to, support these kind of projects and, enrich our upcoming generation. So thank you to Khalsa Media Services.
Thank you, Panji Grindako, and thank you, Panji Ranjit Kaur, for having us here and getting it to the Sangat, getting a message to the Sangat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you have any last comments that you would like to make in regards to the movie?
I'll just request the singer to do watch the movie. Like, our main goal of movie and all our books is, because we even sell our books at below cost. The main goal is to maximum outreach, because we want to convey the message across, right? And we do request the singer to watch the movie. And if there is any budget concerns or anything, you can always reach out to us, and we can give free codes and everything as well.
Yeah. And just before we let you go today, VG, I was gonna ask, like, is this movie being promoted and screened in India as well? I think it will be great if this can be used for educational purposes over there in schools or anywhere else. Is there anyone there to support?
So Vimeo is still working in India, but like you said, showing in schools and colleges. We did a couple of shows in like colleges, and that's what I'm thinking, using as a venue in India, and maybe tying up with one or two organizations who can just do shows. The key challenge which we are seeing here is that whom can we trust? Like, people we have seen take the movies and make the DVDs and start selling, those kind of things, right? So people don't respect each other's work, right? Yeah. So we are looking into some aspects how we can reach out, but our goal is to at least go to the colleges, because they can relate to this movie very closely.
That's right.
So that's our goal in India.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I think also, like, with the movie, you said it's 2 hours, it could be quite long stretched. With when we watch movies, we don't watch an hour straight. It's always in chunks. So 20 minutes and then another day 20 minutes. We take it in small chunks because like, for example, a 4-year-old wouldn't last that long. So children tend to like have it in small. So I do think with families, if you do find that 2 hours is too long for you, then break it up, but get the message across that these guys have worked so hard to get this message across to you guys. So where you can help out in just watching a movie, it's not going to be that that difficult. But thank you all, and we will see you again next week. And if you've got any comments or a specific topic that you would like covered, please send us an email to hello@thekaurshow.com. And if you would like to see any of our previous shows, then please visit our website, thekaurshow.com. Thank you, VG. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।